What is up? Welcome back. It's part 2 of Day 9 Daily number 676, where we learn to be a better gamer. Thanks to Jaedong, who I just have to say, I really think that he is probably the biggest consistent high-level pioneer in all Zerg matchups. He's just amazing at having newer and newer ways to extend a lead, and it's almost always through attacking and clever ways in which he's aggressive. And that's just really cool. I mean, most of the time, players are still doing MVP-esque things where maybe they can sneak in another upgrade or not lose as many units here and there. It's just this hyper efficiency. I think Flash is a really good example of this, but man, Jaedong is just amazing at being an attacking player. So when I come back to here, in this moment, we've seen Jaedong set himself up as a beautiful counterattacker. He's opening up attack paths here. There's this attack path at the third. And I'd also like to illustrate that there's not a huge amount of attack area. Life has almost all his units in this box. In fact, he could even probably have all of them in this box, and it would defend most any lesser player, right? You don't need tremendous distances between bases. You just need slightly different angles, as we're going to see out of Jaedong. Look, he just is using this little angle here and this little angle here, and occasionally this one and this one. There's a lot of different angles that, incidentally, are very, very, very close together, but the Mutalisks are keeping a good eye on it all. Now, if I had to say what I think is the cleverest thing that Jaedong has done this entire game, it would be saying, nope, don't need a 5th gas. I'm going to go for a 4th base first. So that's what I love. So let's see Jaedong doing this. Whoops. Accidentally eating one big. He's going to lose a couple of units. No big deal. Just continue to apply pressure. Roach forces split up all over the place. Look at production. Here's another one of my favorite things. We might ask ourselves, how do we take our extremely inefficient units, like literally only roaches, how do we add a little efficiency to them? Burrow, one of the cheapest ways to benefit lings, roaches, queens, drones, protects you from counterattacks. Oh, here's, I think, my favorite attack this entire game. Jaedong hits this roach warren. It's literally the only spot that isn't protected by spores. We got spore, spore, spore. There's another spore there. All the way in there. And then he's hitting from all sides, just trying to do a little poking that he can do. And on one of these fronts, just one, life loses. Life is crushing here. And whoopsie daisies, starts to lose there. And this is all Jaedong's looking for. And then he's going to just pierce as deep into this base as he can. And actually gets the Roach Warren. And here's where Burrow can be really sick. He's killing off these spore crawlers. Roach Burrow still follows the same theme. Speed units keep life playing defensively. Burrow is going to keep life playing defensively. And suddenly, uh-oh, life loses track of another set of things up at the front. Still inefficient trades for Jaedong, but he just has so much of a larva lead. I mean, the amount of drones have been killed off, 17, have to have been replaced every time. Jaedong is mass just flooding. He hasn't even really used this 4th base all that much, but he soon will. Oh, there's the drone transfer. And if Jaedong thinks he sees an edge, he's going to push it. Now you want to see the most amazing thing? No gas yet for life. Jaedong, who delayed these geysers for frickin' ever, is ahead in gas. What? Wait. Jaedong continuing to flood the roaches, continuing to split them up. Doing all sorts of things that will make life cry. So with such a big spread of stuff. Oh, and note that Burrow lets Jaedong heal back really fast. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So good. So Gosu. Starting to see life teasing the notion of a push out before he has to like hastily dart back. We might even ask ourselves, why doesn't Life have a spotter up here? I mean, we can see that Life doesn't seem to really have that much vision. This is because of those 7 Mutalisks that Jaedong got at the start. Oh, so elegant. Now, one thing that I would want to actually turn into a you statement, this is something that I want you to consider in your play. If you're doing this big mass blast away at the front kind of style, when do you stop focusing so much on harassment and counterattacking and bludgeoning down our opponent? And when do you begin transitioning out? Because Jaedong has bought himself tremendous time and opportunity to be able to get this base up, but the whole purpose of this play is to get those bases up. It's not to just counterattack the enemy to death. Although that is an added bonus. That's not the point, it's just the bonus. Ugh. So here I think is an excellent time to do this. I mean, maxed, obviously. But in what way would make the most sense for Jaedong? I think a Hydralisk transition is fantastic. Most Zerg players who are playing the super efficient, careful, don't attack, only win with one big blow, generally the Hydra Den happens at 150 supply. Why is that what's normal in Zerg vs. Zerg? Well, because Zerg players say, well, I don't want to get maxed on Roaches. That's so bad. A maxed Roach army loses to almost any other maxed army with efficient units like infestors, like Hydras. So let me get my Hydra Den at 150 so I can sneak in like 15 or so of those Hydras. Like 15 or so. Here, Jaedong is getting it maxed. Is that bad? Well, no, because Jaedong's intending to counterattack and lose Roaches and replace them. Look how much more stuff Jaedong has lost. Inefficiency at its finest. One thing that, if you ever want to ask yourselves, am I playing inefficiently correctly? Like, am I doing this Jaedong aggro beatdown style well? A good signal is that you are almost always ahead in supply and ahead in bases. See, look at this. Jaedong sacrifices, or is willing to sacrifice a good number of Roaches to be able to pick that off. Jaedong saw quite a lot of Roaches over there, so he's going to poke up here in the on the other side. But yeah, just cleans up, gets the geysers going. Look at this amount of cash. This is great. And I think this is a good time for Jaedong to be like, all right, nice. I'm finally pulling out of things. Look at this. Infestation pit. Range. Oh, where's range? There we go. Range. Muscular augments. Jaedong knows that this is a big target, but life finally seems to be really stabilizing pretty hard here. And, I think the minimap really reveals a very smart move Jaedong's doing. In this minimap, we see that this base is finally quite far away from the other point of interest for Zerg. It used to be everything contained inside this trapezoid. This is really all the space that Life truly had to cover. But now Life has this and this space. So Jaedong just joins a lot of his forces together and just makes a big drilling attack on this front side. Look at Jaedong's supply. Loses some units, replaces with infestors. Great. Life seems to have gotten the memo that he needs to split his units up, so he's continuing to keep a bulk of things over on this side. Very inefficient army for Jaedong moving down. Only Roaches. But look how many Roaches it is. 24 plus, oh Jesus, almost 48 Roaches. Versus about half that, plus some infestors. Pretty cool. And look at Jaedong replacing it with some of the goods. And again, when would you stop your sort of aggression if you were in Jaedong's shoes? How would you decide that it was time to switch away? It happened very naturally for Jaedong in this game. It appeared like he was able to continue to do damage. I mean, we still see him continue to do damage. And then he just replaced that supply naturally. And now we're actually going to see Jaedong play off a pretty straightforward game. He's spending all his extra cash. On spines, he's getting a hive. He's getting more defensive structures. In usual Jaedong fashion, he outstrips his opponent in larva by such a hilarious degree. And then begins to head up to sort of a dirtily Broodlord style. Ooh, Overlord speed. So nifty thrifty. Do-do-wop-bop. A Viper come down for life. Who has, wow, so few drones. Struggling to really keep this base up. A few more roaches from Jaedong because he wants to get some quote up to. Broodlords in this matchup are not the power unit that they really are. In the other matchups. In this one, they're like, okay. But kind of one of the funny side effects of going for this aggressive mass unit, mass expanding style is that even in the late game, you can just like build an expo. I mean, the sort of shock waves of the early game aggression play itself out in the map vision. Look at Jaedong's vision. Absolute control. Look at Life's vision. Complete shutout. Now, rather than just staring at this minimap for a while, let's come back to this. And now suddenly, hey, look at this. This is one of the worst feelings. This is this moment where you should just celebrate. If you can ever get to this point in your games, you did something right. Where you started off really aggressive, attacking every which way, and then you wound up with basically the same army as your opponent. Look at this, Jaedong even has a better composition, 16 Hydras, 5 Infestors. There's going to be 6 Infestors. There's only 3 Hydras on Life's side of things. He's getting some more, but this is just lovely. Absolutely lovely. Heavy Rain, I think, is a sweet map. P.S. I love this map. P.S. Getting some Broodlords. Jaedong's got to be really careful with the Broodlords. Getting really careful with his Broodlords. An engagement occurs. Uh-oh, Blinding Cloud. Fungal Growth, Blinding Cloud. Is that a combo you've seen before? You need to theory craft some more. The Blinding Cloud Fungal Growth is one of just those really nice, fast combos. Fast as in, you're probably already going to have some Infestors from mid-game. And Kabamo, Kablooey, Shazooey. Just get the Blinding Cloud. But, I waited till this moment to showcase not battle cruisers. No, not Guardians. Broodlords. Woo, damn. I wait till this moment to showcase the Broodlords in action. Because we're seeing that Life isn't really getting, like, mauled by the Broodlords. Without really any big direct firing underneath the Broodlords, Jaedong still barely holds. One of the entire reasons why the Broodlords work on this map is because of these extremely thin passageways. In big open maps, I don't even like getting Broodlords a lot of the time. I actually do want to rewatch that battle to again emphasize how not gigantically insta-game winning Broodlords are in this matchup when compared to the other matchups. Don't get me wrong, they're great. They're really great units. But, I mean, like, you know, against a Terran, if you get up, like, 9 or 10 Broodlords and have, like, any reasonable amount of coverage, it's pretty hard to even touch the Broodlords. Here it's a much different story. So here's where Jaedong is retreating, instantly turns back around. Turns back around. Oh no, I didn't want to hit that button! No! No, pull back! There we go. So as I open the unit tab, wow, look at this, Startail Life. Let me hit the D tab now, there we go. So, we see here there's 13 Roaches versus 45, 7 versus 14. But there's about to be a buttload of battle cruisers. Broodlords. I don't know why I keep calling them battle cruisers, man. I would instantly lose like all my credibility. If I were doing like a first time cast and I'm like, he's getting 6 battle cruisers, like, who is this newbie? Shoot him in the face with a gun so he doesn't commentate our game anymore. So there's 6 broodlords, which represents a considerable amount of supply. It's basically another 12 roaches worth of supply. 24 up in these bad boys. We got Monsieur Dong in a really, really good angle. But I mean, I'm working hard to be able to select any broodlings at all. Broodlings really don't do a lot. There we go. Because they deal 4 damage. And at this stage in the game, roaches have 4 armor. Or, more frequently, 3. Hydralisks have 3 armor, or more commonly, 2. So they're just not really doing a lot of damage. In the other matchups, it's more frequent for us, the Zerg player, to have melee upgrades, so we feel the effects of that damage more strongly. And also, you'll note that a broodling has 30 life. Roaches, easily 2-shot it. I mean, with a Hydra there too, it's like 1 shot from each, and they just evaporate so fast. So we feel the power and potency of those broodlings much, much less. Look at this unit's lost tab. Just Jaedong, just getting slaughtered. This is where he starts to come back. Broodlords are for sure an efficient unit. Faux super sûr. Oh, what a lovely expansion we have. I think I'll continue to have that one. And Jaedong reinforcing with Hydras, which is pretty common because you have an endless wall of units for the Hydralisks to sit behind. Some Roaches are almost always necessary, no matter what stage of the game and how many Broodlords you have. But I'm going to open up this unit's lost tab because I think... Yeah, we see GG with Jaedong still behind in that count. Ooh. Ooh. Mmm. Oh. This is going to turn into one of those Herbal Essences commercial where I'm like, oh my god, inefficient play. Oh, like, oh, yes. This is one of my absolute favorite concepts in almost all strategy games. The idea of keeping your opponent so hold back defensively by building so many of the cheap, inefficient, not good late game units. They are able to build up a huge economy. A gigantic one. And the resource in Zerg vs. Zerg that's so often not spoken about is the larva. Jaedong had like so many more larvae than his opponent that he could get ridiculous numbers of roaches out and use ridiculous amounts of Zerglings. So cool. I love this concept. We see this same concept used in Protoss vs. Terran in Brood War, where it's all Dragoon Zealot versus Vulture Tank. Vulture Tank, way more efficient, but slow. The biggest key in pretty much any one of these like inefficient mass stuff style is you're getting faster units. You're just getting faster, more counterattacky, the more keep your opponent pinned type stuff. And he simply can't, he just can't deal. I want to watch the start of another game where we're going to see Jaedong get himself up a nice setup. And we're going to see things turn south. So that way we can see it also not working. Because as much as I love to preach the notion of something being totally, indefatigably kick-ass, I was on Polar Night. I must indeed concede the fact that sometimes things go wrong. We're only going to watch the very, very start of this one, because I'm realizing that the length segment for part 2 is quite good in the hood. And I respect 20-minute segments. Wow, this is just... oh, God, this is taking forever. Come on. Come on. Come on, load. Load. Do it, load. Come on, go. 76%. 77. What's happening at 77%? 78. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Come on. 80%. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop for me. Don't stop on my behalf. Please. We're at 84%. Come on. Come on. You know, I may as well play with the video mixer while I wait for this load. This shouldn't take this long. This is a pain in the fudge. There it is. There it is. Yes. Yes. All right. There we go. I can't believe how slow that was, man. Today, the story of today is slow downloads. So let's go ahead and go to the dong cam. Le camera de dong. The camera of donging. I dong for you. Happy Valentine's Day. 2-player map, Polar Night, nifty stuff. We might think to ourselves, goodness, counterattacks are even stronger. Because why? Because minimap, baby. Look at the distance between the natural and wow. This third here or this third here. Oh! Oh! It is so huge! Oh! So let's see how Jaedong might open. What decisions he will make by default, and what decisions he will make as a follow-up. Alright, so there's the spawning pool going down right away, an extractor coming up incidentally. And here's a moment where Jaedong goes, oh wait, you went hatch second. And it's easy to tell because my hatch was first. And it's earlier than yours. Don't overthink it. Oops, let me go back to Dong Vision. Jaedong's gonna scout, and again he's gonna see no gas here and no gas here. Now it could be the case that Jaedong floods with a lot of Zerglings, but we're gonna see a little bit of a different twist that's gonna exploit how far away this base is from this natural. Or how far away this base is from this natural. Oh, I love this play. It is what? Zergling speed. It is what? A harassing ling. It is what? Oh, one still left in the gas. Come on, Jaedong. Queens, 2. 2 queens getting produced from Startail Life. Look at this. He's going hyper efficient. Look at all the drones he's going to be getting. He's going to get a 4th queen soon. Look, there's the 4th one. I'm not even joking you. There's not even a baneling nest. Why? Oh, because Jaedong saw no gas. So it's very hard for the enemy to have gotten up banelings of his own. That's why Jaedong can skip spine, skip banelings, skip all these things. Boom. Hatchery going down. Down it goes. Now we're at 6 minutes. This is extremely early. We see Double Evolution Chamber from Jaedong. Does have some more dudes up in the gas. When we come back, we're going to see what Jaedong does with this unusual setup. All we want to note right now is that Jaedong opened up with a seemingly typical build. Expo, pool, gas, fast ling speed. But he identified no gas in his opponent's base, which allows him to say, there will be no baneling nest soon. The previous game, we saw Jaedong bring the noise with a big attack, but in this, Jaedong skips all defenses and takes a 3rd. Stay tuned for the amazing finisher.